Fitting an extra fuse in the fuse box in a Skoda Fabia MK1 99 to 2007. Installing a sat-nav by the mirror inevitably leads you to run a cable down the A-pillar towards the fuse box, which is hidden behind this panel here. I just need a little screwdriver, flat bladed, to take the panel cover off. Here's the fuse board with the two types of fuses, small and large ones. And as the sat-nav doesn't take a lot of power, it's the top ones I'm interested in. There's a number of blank spaces where there's a fuse that's not assigned to anything that I'm thinking of using. If you're lucky, you might find a pre-installed fuse holder where you should see the metal female socket, but in my case there is none. So I'll have to get access to the rear of the board to find the appropriate power that comes on only when the ignition is turned on, so the sat-nav doesn't drain the battery, depending on what kind of sat-nav you've got. If I put a little test light on, I can easily ascertain which fuses are ignition only. Some fuses will only come on when you turn the switch, such as the rear fog lights. Put my clip on a suitable ground. Test the first fuse, which is the central lock-in, I think. Nothing at the second fuse. But when I turn the ignition on, we get power. And that one's assigned to the rear window wiper. It's always good to have a plan of all the fuses. I downloaded this from the internet, printed it out. This one shows the spaces where the fuses aren't assigned, so I'll probably use one of those. And I may take the power from an ignition only fuse directly at the rear of the board, or I'll trace back up the cables to a suitable distribution junction. Here's the VAG repair wire that you're going to need. There's a number of versions of these, and it's important to get one with enough current carrying capacity for your device. I'll leave the details and the OEM numbers in the description. It comes with two female socket clips on either end and is about 1 foot long. First of all, you need to take this front lower fascia panel off. I'll just skip through this. If you want to know how to do this in detail, I've done another video and I'll leave a link in the description and at the end of the video. With the lower panel removed, you can now get access to the rear of the fuse box, and there's a plastic cover on it with clips around its perimeter. You could take it off in situ, but it's not easy to get to, so it might be easier just to take it out and then you can drop it down. One thing I want to do before I take the fuse box out is check which side of the fuse is the incoming live feed when the ignition is turned on. You should have some little supplied pliers to get the fuses out. And if you haven't, you can buy these cheaply online. So this is the incoming live feed. I decided to take the vent out, thinking it would give me some more room. But it didn't, so you don't need to do this. The fuse holder is held in by two T25 screw bolts, one at the top and one at the bottom. Simply take those out. Then ease the fuse box out from the bottom and it's quite tight, so you need to just push it a bit. And it'll release from the mounting frame, like so. The backing plate is held on quite loosely with a series of clips around the perimeter. You just need a flat bladed screwdriver to take those off. Here's the cover. And I want to identify the cable. In my case it's the black and red one, second in from the top and down, the rear windscreen wiper. This is the cable that comes on with ignition only, and I want to splice in another wire from this. So I need to cut a section of sheathing away. Then split the stranded copper wire. Then feed in the extra wire and twist the whole thing round. Until you're happy with the result. Put something fireproof behind the cable and solder it, and then tape it all up. Nice and tightly. Of course there's a number of ways of doing this. This is just one of the methods you can do. If you take the connector out, you can probably get some heat shrink on it. I did try, but I couldn't actually get the connector out, as it really needs a little fine extracting tool that I haven't got. And then it's just a question of finding the space that you want to put the extra fuse in. Make sure you orientate the spaded connector so it's in line with the fuse on the front of the unit, and simply push it in to the back of the box until it clicks. You might need to push it in with a screwdriver a little bit, but it should go in until it won't come out again. This is where I actually find that the connector was too large to go into the socket on the fuse box. I did try for some time, wondering what was going wrong here, and then I realised that it was actually the wrong size altogether. So unfortunately I wasn't able to finish this job, and it's not a surprise with the way I'm feeling at the moment. We're still having the remnants of a virus, and the lockdown doesn't help, although the last thing I want to do is go out in this condition. Anyway, enough moaning about me. I will source the correct connector and finish the job in a part 2 version of this. And I will say it's well worth doing, rather than relying on those piggyback fuses. Although in the Fabia's case there's not a very great deal of room once you've got the cover on. And in my opinion, don't look that good actually. So if you're a stickler for things looking neat and tidy, be sure to tune into part 2 of this, and we'll see how far we can get with that one. Anyway, I hope you found this video of some use, and at least gave you some entertainment. And I'll catch you on the next video.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.